Welcome back, everyone, to another session of the World of Horen. Thank you for joining us tonight as we embark on another session within this custom world, custom adventure for our friends and made by each and every one of us. Before we do jump in, Woot, thank you, Silvertree, for subscribing for 13 months in a row. Hey. I want to just do a quick shout out to all those who happen to be like the Silvertree, who is Carl, who is Pellier, is lucky enough to have Amazon Prime and therefore a Twitch Prime subscription. If you're not using that Twitch Prime subscription, go ahead and click on that subscribe button up at the top for us. It just helps out, covers a little bit of maintenance costs for some of the situations that we have, so we appreciate every single one of those. We've just hit in the past couple of days our 400th follower, so woo, thank you very much for that. Let's push up a little bit more. Let's get up to that 500 point and we'll do something special. All right. So, last session, our heroes traveling through the across the land of Irmios, traveling from the capital city of Oakwell along the streets to. Hey, thank you for the subscription, Graham Crackers. Along the road towards Citadel Haganibuto. They passed through the small kind of merchant town of Honey Gulf and now find themselves just outside the grand doors of Citadel Haganibuto. This great citadel is built within the Moonlit Mountains, and it is the home of the dwarves primarily. This is the primary base of the dwarven kind in the Empire of Irmios. There are other dwarves elsewhere, but this is the main citadel. Being so close to Oakwell, it's kind of also considered a second capital to those that are around it, or at least according to the dwarves. Things should be normal, but unfortunately, things have been missing. Now, our reason for entering Citadel Haganibuto today is the party are looking for someone. Do you all remember who you're looking for?
Dagnar Rockfist.
Dagnar Rockfist. And since you answered, Theo, what is so special about Dagnar Rockfist?
He is a speaker. Was that the technical term?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And what they do is they're essentially spies that work for Oakwell that kind of rat on wherever they're at to let the government of Oakwell know if there's anything going on they need to know about. So Harper's kind of. Yeah, you could kind of say that. When I first designed them, I imagined them more like a glorified telephone system. But yeah, I like the idea that they're more like spies. They are the purple monkeys of the dishwashers.
They, at the very least, think they're very important. Whether or not higher government officials think they're more than a telephone, who knows?
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out the purple monkey. You'll have
You've
to
never
explain
played
that one to me
before?
at the time. I play telephone, but I don't know what a purple monkey is.
Purple monkey dishwasher is whatever it always degrades into. Don't worry about it. Let's play a game.
Okay. All right. Sorry. Okay. We're moving along. So, every city within the Empire has a speaker that is nominated within it, and that speaker is responsible for communicating changes to law and updating Oakwell on the behavior and the activities within each of the citadels. Now, the speaker for Citadel Haganibuto hasn't been responding to messages recently. He's been receiving sendings, so we know he's still alive, but he's not been responding to them, which has been a bit of a problem. So our heroes have been sent incognito to the Citadel to try and figure out what's going on there. Upon arriving in the mountains, as they breach up around the storm cloud that they walk past, more or less, the mountains set up, the Citadel set up quite high into the mountaintops above the cloud cover. They encountered some animated statues. Now, these statues were, according to what the party know, weren't supposed to be animated. They were supposed to be more decorative, things that you would maybe say a little prayer to on your way through towards the Citadel and claim the ancestors' blessings, that sort of atmosphere. But these foo dog statues were acting like actual pack animals, jumping around on around the mountains, and unfortunately took a liking to our tabaxi rogue here when he tried to present them with coin. After the battle, we restart the adventure here at this point. So you are surrounded by the broken remains of all of those lion dog statues, and you can see up the trail and around the corner a little bit is the entrance to the Citadel. The entrance that you can see has a huge doorway. Something about dwarves and oversized entryways, maybe they're compensating, but they built a 50-foot tall metal door into the side of this mountain. And it is covered in their traditional imagery and design of their great old warriors. So you can see right on the front life-size images of paragons of the dwarven history stood in the doorway, acting like guards to the world beyond. It looks closed off, and it just looks cold. What are the party doing?
Obsidian, are you all right? You took quite the beating at the hand of these creatures.
That is, I have had worse. It is okay. We are fine.
Yeah, he'll be fine. And I'm just like kicking the rocks of the little dogs.
I join in.
I do not remember this feature on my last visit. I do not think that was supposed to happen.
So you have been here before then in your travels?
This is true.
Well, then perhaps you should ask them to open the door for us, since you know your way around.
Very well. Are you sure you are all right?
I mean, I have had worse. I have had better, too.
Is Pelir going to have to talk to more of those dogs, or are there actual people to talk to now?
Can I kind of look at what's ahead, the whole gate setup? You said that the area feels cold.
Mm-hmm.
Is there...
Yeah. What are you looking for? Sorry.
Well, I was going to see if I could make some kind of check to glean just how wrong the air is. Like, maybe there are usually people walking to and from out here, or maybe there are people posted, but there aren't. Is it a ghost town? Are they shut in?
Or is it wrong? We're high in the mountains. Maybe it's just cold all the time.
So you get a little bit closer to the gate, roll a perception check.
Is there any way that I could convince you to do an insight check on this one? Because I am
insight check on the stonework.
The air. You were talking about how the air feels.
No, true. Yeah,
So,
no, fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roll an insight check.
16.
16. Okay. All right. There are a couple things that really tip off your senses and your thought here. For one thing, the doors are closed, and they look like they've been closed for a while. You can see that there is enough dust built up around the hinges and around the crack in the door that indicates the doors haven't been open for a while. You can see, actually, out the corner of your vision, that just off to the side of the doorway, there are some old loose bits of cloth and debris that would have been the usual fanfare you would expect entering into this. So there's even what is the word for the is it bunting? I don't know, the triangle things on a string. I can't think of what I don't know what I'm talking about, but it's like streamers.
Flags?
Yeah, flags.
Oh, okay,
Flags.
all right, yeah.
Yeah, the like the Buddhist prayer flag.
Decorum.
Yeah, that sort of thing. I couldn't think of the name. You can see one of those just broken off that's just lapped around a piece of rock flowing in the wind. Everything looks like it's just been abandoned on the outside of this space. In front of the door, there's steps. The path that you're on is a rough-hewn pathway, but it becomes steps as you get closer to the main gate, and lining those steps are the pedestals that those dog statues are supposed to be on. Those obviously are empty. So that's why you get an idea of it's closed off from the world. It's left everything else behind.
I'll kind of wrap my poncho a little bit tighter around me and shiver a little bit with how inhospitable the environment suddenly has become, kind of honing in and focusing on that torn triangle banner thing just kind of flapping in the wind soundlessly. I'm going to turn to the rest of my party and say, it's entirely possible that the Guardian statues were activated and whatever ill has fallen the Citadel is still happening right behind the doors. It is there are supposed to be people out here, and it's not. If you kind of look at it, you can see that it's not. People have been here.
Are you saying that these statues, are not to keep us out, but to keep whatever's inside in?
That is not necessarily what I'm saying. I'm just saying that they've been activated somehow. And I think that they've been appropriately activated. I don't think they've gone berserk. So it's possible they are keeping something in. It's possible that whatever they were trying to protect the place from walked by them and they didn't stop it. So they just went out into the open.
Agree to disagree on the whole they're being berserk and stupid thing.
I'm just gonna grab my sword out, just look at the party. Just say, let's just go in and let's figure this out. But be ready. Anything can happen. And I'll be the first one in. And if we were doing like a order, I'll be in the front.
Okay. All right. So the big, huge metal door, both of them, don't have any sort of handle. They've got lots of design that you could maybe grab hold of and try to pull or push, but they don't seem to have any large handles that you could open.
Do you think there's a secret knock or something?
I say start with a regular old knock, knock, knock. And I do that with the hilt of my sword. I go, knock, knock, knock.
Okay. The sound of your knock seems to echo and compound once it goes past. A large empty space is clearly beyond it. You wait a few moments and eventually you'll hear a small pitter-patter of footsteps heading their way towards. After a moment, maybe less than a minute, finally something shuffles against the door. Who is it?
We're just travelers seeking refuge.
There's a town a couple days west of here. You can refuge there.
I'm going to slide my hand along Cecil's back and cast guidance on him.
Oh, okay. We have ill people. People who need to see. Yeah, exactly. Did you hear this? We don't have time to wait.
It hurts so bad, Coach.
My stepbrother is dying.
Oh, but you said you were okay. Do you need healing? Are you alright?
My stepbrother is dying. Open up.
I'm trying to figure out whether or not that cry should help or hinder. Roll a deception check with guidance, and I'll give you advantage too.
Alright.
Because of Obi's ecstatic crying.
How much is guidance?
No one likes to see.
1d4.
1d4. Okay, so it is 21 and plus 1, so 22.
Okay, 22. Shh. If I let the door open, will you be quiet?
Yes, we'll be quiet. And I'm gonna pick up Obi in my hands, on my arms,
Okay.
carry it.
I'm not that heavy.
You'll start hearing metal sliding across the door as huge bolts are unlatched, chains are loosed, and eventually the doors start to just slide open inward into the Citadel. Everything is dark on the inside. You open up into a room that the ceiling is at least 100 foot high, maybe even higher, and everything is built into very ornate-looking archway formations. About halfway up each of these arches, you can see flame torches with flames just giving dim light everywhere. A small dwarf, looking very tired, wearing little more than cloth and simple robes, is behind the door. Come on in before it gets cold, and keep your voice down.
You got
Okay. Once everyone's in, he'll start pushing against the door and eventually close it. Put all the locks in place. All right. This is welcome to Ganebuto. What sort of ill do you have? Maybe our healers can work on it.
we troubled you enough. We just please tell us where the nearest inn is, and from there we'll take it. I'll take him somewhere else. I'll take him. I'll find out from someone else because you look very tired.
Roll a persuasion check.
Yeah. 16.
All right. Follow me. And he'll shuffle forward at a fairly slow pace toward away from the entrance. Once he gets past the main hall area, it splits around this huge pillar. Upon the pillar, you can see more of these images of dwarven mark on here. This one in particular tells the history that is common knowledge of the Citadel itself and how upper Haganebuto and lower Haganebuto were once one but have been split off since the Great Divide. The upper Haganebuto is now the Citadel, and that is where you are. You walk around this large pillar, and beyond you have this enormous cavern built into the side of the mountain. The mountain is effectively hollow for lack of any attempts from the dwarves, as they've mined pretty much everything around it and then reinforced the walls of the mountain itself. So there are huge buttresses and support structures that have been placed inside the mountain itself to keep the outer shape, whilst having little to no rock formations inside at all. Interconnecting stone pathways run from side to side and up and down different layers that all seem to just spiral around this cavern. So you can either walk the long way, which is one big spiral around the city that would take you miles and miles to do, or you could go on various shorter routes that are just straight across the gap, which is the most common and quickest way. He takes you right to the edge and then points down two of the layers to a fairly large and colorful. You can see that there's plenty of an array of multiple colors shining out of a hole in the side of the mountain. That's the thunderous anvil. That's where you want to go. That's where you'll find people to talk to.
All
okay?
Right. Thank you.
Good job. Don't fall off the side.
As soon as right after he says that, Theo's gonna turn around and do like a trust fall thing right off the ledge.
Oh no! Oh, not another one.
Of course, before she splats, she's gonna whip out her glider.
Of course, you know that. He doesn't. His behavior and response just seems like that's more of an inconvenience to him than any sort of concern on you. Do you pop back up? Do you reassure him at all, or do you just stay below?
Nope,
okay.
I'm just gonna. Yep.
She'll be fine. She can fly. Don't worry.
Okay, I want to put it out there that I warned. I am resolved of any responsibility. Good night.
She's fine. Good night. Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
And he'll walk back the way he came and trudge back off to wherever he was sleeping.
I'll place Obi back on the ground.
What was that guy's deal? It seems either tired or drunk or both or something. Do I get a sense of what his speech pattern and attitude would imply?
Would you like to roll an insight check?
Would rather Theodora do it, but she dropped, so...
That it does not have to be the only dwarf we roll an insight check on.
14.
No, 14. Okay. He just looked really tired, really exhausted, little patience, and was just tired. Okay. Everything's quiet, though, which is a little odd in this space. You'd expect a city this big with the sheer amount of doors and buildings you can see from where you are that line the hole in the center, the cavern. You'd expect some people to be out and about. It's not late at night. It's daytime. It should be active, but there isn't much going on. And you don't see any other dwarves walking the streets. Now, as you look over the top, and we'll go to Theo's point of view here, as she kind of just falls back and rotates in the air, she'll start to glide through the cavern to get a better view of things. The further down you go, the cavern opens out and then stops on a flat plane, like a giant triangle. Inside this cavern. At the base of the triangle, you can see that there is this very beautiful golden palace right at the bottom. The golden palace is covered in orb-like structures and towers that you could take this palace and stick it far away from here, and it would look grand and incredible. But inside this huge cavern, it just looks dwarfed, looks tiny. Light glints off of it. You can see that they've positioned lanterns and light sources to cause the light to shine off of the golden palace and then reflect elsewhere. So a lot of the light in the lower level is purely the reflection from the palace itself. What do you do? What are you doing, Theo?
I was going to the thundering something or other. All I remember is the word thundering.
Okay. Anvil. So you're just going to... Okay. So everyone will see that Theo just flies off straight towards that tavern. Everyone else joins.
I guess that is where we...
It was a ruse to get inside, but I could really use a healer. I mean, I'm not in great shape.
You'll be fine, Obi. Trust me.
You are probably right.
We'll be sleeping soon, hopefully. Right?
Do you want some jerky?
Is it fish-flavored jerky?
No.
Yes.
Okay.
It won't heal you, but it's tasty.
Oh, it is indeed the tastiest. You are too kind.
You're welcome.
Approaching this tavern, for lack of a better word, the building on the outside looks like it's half stuck into the mountainside itself, like someone's pushed a building out of the edge, as part of the stonework even appears to be growing back around the large stone building. It is a 3-story building, or at least that's what you can assume from the small holes of little lights that cascade up above the main entrance. The main entrance is what the colourful array of lights is shining out of, and as Theo approaches quicker than anyone else, because she's flying there, she'll start to hear some light, casual, soothing music coming from the inside. Someone's playing a nice tune on a wind instrument of some sort. It's very, very somber, very soft in here. The lights cascade between red and blue and purple. Just a nice little disco, almost, of a color, kind of like a color spray, but coming from the inside of this space. You look through the front door. The tavern is fairly full. You've got maybe 40, 50 dwarves inside of here that are just very quietly talking amongst themselves. A bartender off to one side with a large bar all around. Many shelves built into this bar in front that show the different kinds of drinks that you could buy that are here. But the light seems to be coming from the eastern side of this, or the right as you come in, the right side of the tavern. They have a large crystal ball that is shining this light everywhere. Sat behind it is a small bard playing on a bagpipe, just nice and slowly.
What is this? The 1470s?
I know. So, but no one really talks to you as you approach. Everyone keeps to themselves.
So she'll poke her head through the open doorway. Is the door just like propped open?
Just open, yeah.
And I will look at who might be a bouncer on a bar stool just waiting there, watching people come and go. And she's going to be like, "Did you know that you guys don't get rain here? How do you exist?"
Who are you?
I am Theo.
Oh, hi, Theo. No, we... Did you want rain? I mean, we could probably get someone to make rain.
No, I mean, just, generally life tends to need water falling out of the sky. So it's just very interesting to me. It's a whole culture based off of people that don't do rain.
Rain's overrated. You don't need to worry about rain.
Okay. Different strokes for different folks, we'll say.
My name's Nefer.
I know.
Hi.
Well,
So, what's the deal? I thought they weren't letting anyone in.
Oh, is that so? And I'm going to kind of stall until my fellows can join me, because I know that there are better people to talk than me.
Fair enough. First
Davvy's
name
just
Nefer,
gonna walk
last name
over
Titi.
to the guy playing the bagpipes and just like try to get him to pick up the pace, like take out her hand drum and like try to go double time with him, see if he can pick it up.
Roll a performance check.
Sure.
And this was the thundering
anvil, though it doesn't sound very thundering right now.
I will change that.
Yeah.
That's a 27.
All right.
Ooh.
You will start to perk him up a little bit. He'll try to match your mood, try to keep along, but he doesn't really know that much in terms of tunes, so he just plays what he's playing just a little bit quicker. And if you've ever heard of a bagpipe in double time, it doesn't sound very...
Going faster does not improve the tune.
Exactly. Because you really need those long draw sounds and lots of air inside of it. So his cheeks are now starting to puff out, and he's struggling to keep up with you. Eventually, he just gets tired and stops, gives up, lets you go, and keep going. But what you do notice is that as you picked up the speed and the tempo, the crystal ball that was hanging above him also responded to your behavior. It started throwing out quicker changes and fancier lighting until it did actually look like a bit of a disco or a club going on inside.
A very somber club.
Yeah.
She's gonna whip out her loot then and just go even faster. Like if he stopped, then she's just whipping out the loot. She just wants to watch the lights go. This is awesome.
I'll go dance like a crazy person.
To which point that bouncer Nephir will approach one of the other ones. Are all your women like that?
Just these two.
Only the
Okay.
fun ones.
Right. Well, you're new. What business have you got in the Citadel?
I don't know if anybody wants to.
Cecil nudging Cecil
Okay,
forward.
okay, all right. So I didn't want to hog the camera, but okay. All right, let me just fix my hair. Okay. All right.
Cecil, you should answer. Cecil, you should talk to him.
All right. So let me get my angry face on.
I am a
you're
cat
just
person. He is a drow, like Dark Shadar-kai. This is like, you should talk to him.
I got this. All right. So, we had a little issue. One of our friends, unfortunately he died. We were trying to get in here. We had him. He died, and then we just left him on the road because he's kind of a dick. So now we're in here. For some reason they had the gate closed. Do you know why?
Well, we closed the doors. That was the deal. Until we could figure out what was going on, we closed the doors.
What was going on? You see, we're trying to avenge our dead friend because the door was closed, and if the door wasn't closed, then we probably would have survived. And we could help you out in any situation.
How did our doors being closed contribute to his death? Did he hit into the doors really quickly?
No, you see, he was dying, and we needed a healer. We didn't have a healer in our group, and we were trying to find the person, and we got lost. Thank God for that dwarf that opened the door for us. So I mean, at least he tried.
It could have been more of us who died. And I still have actual blood from the fight. That doesn't clean up yet.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's like beat up.
Yeah.
Does your pet need medical attention?
This is actually he's also an adventurer here. He's not really a pet. Kind of rude, to be honest, but it's okay. Don't worry, I understand. He's different from everybody else.
So he doesn't need medical attention, or he does? What's?
Oh no, yeah, he does, but he's all right. He's kind of on timeout, so.
All right, my wife, Mimley, she'll gladly stitch him up a little bit. I own the place here. We're in mourning right now, so everyone needs to just relax. Just be calm. The period of mourning will end in a day or so, and then we'll be back up to our cheery selves.
All right.
Okay.
Who exactly is being mourned?
Obi walks over to the jamming lute player and is like, make it sad. Make it sad. Everyone's sad. Read the room. Read the room.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like-
she'll slow it down.
Like,
Kind of a sad ballad. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll stop dancing and just stand there dejected.
that's perfect.
It's okay. We know you don't know our customs. That's why the door was closed. We didn't want to mess around. Well, it's a bit of a contentious topic about who we're mourning. Some people think we shouldn't be mourning him. What did I call him? the Lord of the Citadel.
Is that his name?
No. No. I was just trying to pull up the what I had called him. Okay. The Lord of the Citadel recently went into a coma. He hasn't woken up in 10 days. So yesterday, one of the high councilmen officially declared to the city that he was dead. He's not, but it's been believed that he should be, and we should move on. So we're in mourning for a few days for him. That's all.
That's good to know.
Mhm.
We'll also participate in mourning. He was a fine lord, even though my first time here.
Wait, he's dead?
Well,
Or he's in a coma?
he's in a coma. He's not woken up for 10 days, but the city is moving on, assuming that he is dead.
10 days is not enough for somebody to come out of a coma. He could be perfectly fine. Have you had anyone look at him? Like outside of the Citadel?
Perhaps we should. Mimley, I'm just gonna show these folks to their room for the night, and we'll. I'm gonna show them to the room. Don't worry. Good night. We'll stitch up the Catman when the Tabaxi when we're done. Come with me. Okay. So he'll lead you to the back of the room, up a set of stairs that starts cutting through these stone corridors. There are plenty of rooms all over the place, and he takes you up to the highest level in this building, the 3rd floor.
Does he seem like the kind of guy who, when you ask unfortunate questions, would throw you off the 3rd floor of a building by chance?
Insight check.
Insight, 14.
14. Maybe. Depends how unfortunate your questions are.
Fair enough.
Taking you off to one of the side rooms. The room is a large space. There are 7 small single beds inside of this bedroom. And one window that leads out. The window is only about 1.5 feet square. All right. Sit down, relax. You're absolutely right. You're 100% right. It's only been 10 days. Like, he's sick. We've waited a lot longer for some of our other kings, our other lords. It's a big deal that the council have been voting on and communicating on how we need to move on from him so soon.
You want to know what it sounds like to me?
What does it sound like to you?
It sounds like someone's poisoning him in order to keep him under. That's actually a lot more common than, unfortunately, you would think it is. People are shits.
Mm-hmm. Well, there are many people talking about the situation and what should happen. We're trying to keep conversations that might get us into trouble private.
Thank you.
Okay. But, so the city's pretending he's dead, maybe trying to believe that he's dead. It's the High Council that are doing that.
Okay, High Council. How many are in the High Council? And how long have they been part of the High Council? Is this something where you're there until you die, or is it like a democracy where you get voted out and in and stuff?
It's usually passed in from family to family. There's usually a representative of each family.
Okay.
Within the council. There's currently 15 seats on the council.
Okay.
And does everyone like the current lord, or would people be happy if he stopped being the lord?
Politics. There's plenty of politics. People like him, people don't. People think... some people that like him think they could probably do a better job than him. Anyways, you don't need to worry about all this. You're you're just newcomers to the town. Did you, other than your friend who you lost, I'm sorry about your loss, what are you here for? Like, maybe we can get you moving and get you along.
If we could help you out, big could, would you want it?
I mean, I would.
Yeah?
A lot of people in the city would, but...
Okay.
Would the people of the city, as in the people like you, like common people, would they want the Lord back?
Yeah. It was a shock when he went down. So...
Does the High Council share their power equally, or is there like a moderator amongst them? Somebody that like has slightly more power than the rest?
Well, that was the Lord, the High Lord of the Citadel.
So if he's out,
if he's like out and dead, it usually the next focus of the Citadel, the Council, is to elect its next leader, who would then take his place and have the same powers.
and
Any one of the High Council could become the High Lord, and then their council position would be given to the eldest in their family.
And then Cecil's gonna be like, what about the speaker? What is do you think that person has power here? I don't really. I when it comes to this stuff, I'm pretty
I don't think that
scatterbrainish.
I don't think he'd know who the speaker is here if there is one here.
I have literally no idea what you are talking about.
I don't know who the speaker is. I know we have one, but it's a closely held secret as to who is the speaker. Because if he were to be compromised, then who knows what would happen, right?
I'd like to lean over to Cecil real quick and just whisper to him. Specifically using the word speaker is probably a bad idea. His name is Dagnar Rockfist.
How loud do you say that?
Very quietly. So quietly.
Very quietly. Stealth check.
Can I convince you? Let's see. This is weird. This is like a reverse. Because my stealth is what it is. Even if it's speaking, it's probably at disadvantage because I'm in split armor. Okay, so...
I wouldn't put it in disadvantage.
Well,
Not
here's
for
my
speaking.
my idea, and it might be neat. And that
Praise
is...
the DM god. See what happens.
Well, I was going to say, have Cecil do a perception check to have heard me. Because potentially I didn't speak loud enough. That's the level of quiet I'm going for. Like, he might have not even heard me.
Right, okay.
So quiet.
So instead of you speaking quiet, it's him listening hard.
So instead of you making the rolls,
Guidance.
ending the game, I'm the one making the rolls and ending the game.
Which is hard.
Okay, I got it.
Okay. Roll a perception check with a guidance of D4.
All right, okay, I got a good roll. So,
Yay.
so
Thank you.
I got an 18 and a 1, so 19.
Okay. You do mutter so quietly that no one in the room can hear except Cecil, who hears it. Good job.
Okay. Cool.
Actually, now that you mention it, we are looking for someone. We traveled from Oakwell, and we have a new shop we are opening. And we heard that the craftsman here in Citadel Aganabuto is the finest craftsman, and perhaps we would find someone here that would be willing to come with us and work in Oakwell.
Speaking of which, we do have our cart where we're going to take our goods that we need to put up We had some horses and carts with us that also need to be cared for the evening, because we are looking for some merchants to buy some things to take back with us in our totally normal merchant cart.
You say that like it shouldn't be totally normal.
You are smart.
There's a park for it, just a little ways down the ring. I can have one of the boys take care of it for you. Does it have any sort of distinguishing features that we should keep an eye out for?
I mean, it has 6 horses around it, and then it's like a cart.
Okay. We'll take care of your horses and your cart. All right. This room you can use. You can have during this time. It's inappropriate of me to request repayment from those in mourning. So stay here for the next couple of days. But hope you like it here. If you're looking for trade, it's probably not going to happen until after the period is closed. People won't be working that much because it's inappropriate to ask for coin, so no one's going to do any work so that they don't ask for coin during that period of time.
I have a quick question for you before we part ways. I saw the palace. Is that the palace that's in the middle?
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. Absolute amazing piece of architecture. I don't understand how some of those modules are attached. That's very neat. I imagine that's where the Lord is in his situation. Mm-hmm. Is that also where the High Council meets?
It is. The palace is you must be new to this place. The palace is mostly just a meeting house where the law is discussed, and then it has the High Lord's apartments connected to it within it.
Okay.
The High Lord's family is spread about as and well they usually are, but once they High Lord is chosen, they're then put into that apartment, and the council meet in his chambers weekly, monthly, daily, however often they need to. Yeah.
And out of character, do we know the High Lord's name?
I don't know if you know it. I don't think I gave it to you.
I go to a university back in Oakwell, so it's probably
most likely you would know it.
Yeah.
His name is Halen Orcbreaker.
Ooh, that's cool.
From a family of orc hunters.
How is Miss Orcbreaker? How is she holding out?
Oh, well, she refuses to leave his side. I feel for her most out of everyone, because when this all is over and they put her aside, there's not really going to be anyone to take care of her.
What kind of government does that?
Well, you said that these are families that run the government and everything. Are there not other orc breakers, a clan to take care of Mrs. Orcbreaker?
She has friends and family, but the High Mistress, a lady Orcbreaker, she was never blessed with the opportunity to have children. She's not a mother. She doesn't quite have the same sort of she's not taken care of in the same sort of way. A mother within the city is taken care of by the city because they're very active. Bringing life into the Citadel is work of the gods, and it is greatly. But someone like her, who has never had that opportunity, needs to find another husband to be able to give her children before she can live off the state.
I frown in the deepest disapproval this dwarf has ever seen.
Daffy also looks confused and rather mad.
You indicated downstairs that you were concerned about people overhearing our conversation. Is there a type of person we should avoid having certain conversations around? Are they recognizable by the way that they dress or anything like this? Trying to change the subject. Noticing.
Yeah.
Depends.
You're gonna find it hard to find anyone any way to tell people from just their looks which family they're part of. I don't know exactly who to not talk to. I figure I could probably trust you because you're not actually involved in any of this. But any of the houses could be against the vote. Or for the vote, and therefore against us talking about the inappropriateness of the vote. If that makes sense.
Well, we appreciate you helping us out.
No problem. And if you ever need anything, Rockfist clan will help you.
I'm gonna take 2 gold coins and I'm gonna give him like a handshake and put the gold coins in his hands and say thank you, and then close it and it's just like imply like, just please take this.
Rockfist.
Aye.
I
That's
have
the
heard
family.
that name before. What is your clan's craft?
We used to. We got our name just simply from our the elders in the family used to do very fine earth crafting materials. They didn't make fists made of rock. No,
You don't have a cousin named Dagnar, do you?
I did.
What? What happened?
Oh, Dagnar up and decided to take an excursion, take a walk down into the deep.
Oh, that is so like Dagnar.
How do you know Dagnar?
He came to Oakwell not long ago. And hoping as a speaker, he would have gotten the job by actually going to. So I'm banking off of knowledge that I'm assuming here.
Roll a luck check.
Don't tell me to roll anything. You're not the DM. Don't give him
True.
ideas.
So true.
No.
Find a way
No,
to
you are
get me to
absolutely
roll it.
right. You're absolutely right in your assumption. And so, fair enough. He didn't mention meeting anyone. He was just there touring.
Well, we all became kind of acquaintances. It was a new posse every night sort of thing. But I did run into him and I met him, and he was a very interesting individual. I liked his hair or lack of. His goof. So what?
Yeah.
He went below?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
One of the last people to go through.
Why would he ever?
He had this wild notion that he needed to go just to adventure awaits was the words he said before he closed the door and walked away, which was weird. Yeah. The idiot, I tell you what, the idiot didn't close the door behind him. We had to clean up that mess for a good few days. Finally closed the door. Thankfully, no one knew it was him.
Did anyone die?
The rock. No, we're fine.
Okay, all right, good.
The heavy security around that door. So
That's the one on the bottom, the bottom of the bottom.
that's below. We don't talk about below.
I don't know what you're referring to.
Good.
What do you mean by the cleanup? What came out?
A lot of creatures from below, denizens of the of Lower Hagaributo, breached through the open doorway.
Denizens such as?
Oh, sorry. No. a lot of fiends, lesser demon-like creatures were breaking up. We had to deal with a whole bunch of. Come on, get what they're actually called. Yeah, cacklers. They were our biggest problem. The cacklers. No, not chocobos. Cacklers. Tiny little fire demons that broke up from the land, from the area below. They got through the door, and we had to just get rid of them. Wasn't too much. They were lesser creatures, so it didn't cause any real problem. If Dagnar comes back, he'll have a rock or two coming his way.
I do not wish to, toot our own horn, but you find yourself in the presence of Cecil, of the clan Hathaway. They are renowned hunters and fighters of monsters and demons. Perhaps we can be of service to the Citadel if these are dangerous creatures knocking at your doors. Perhaps there is something we can do. If we were interested in such a thing, and seeing how there is no commerce going around in town right now, who could we inquire with who might be interested in our services?
So I don't think anyone's going to really want to get rid of all of them. When you go down by the door, if you go down and get permission to go down and get involved, you'll find a lot of commerce built around hunting the monsters down there. So you're welcome to join in, but people enjoy the blood sport. People enjoy the fight and the glory against the monsters. So getting rid of all of them would get rid of a nice chunk of activity. I mean, most youths go down there at least once before they become a man.
Also, it is a sport?
Yeah, some people consider it sport. Some families consider it a rite of passage. Most just consider it adventure.
So, if we were interested in taking part in this sport, who would we see about such things?
You'll want to speak to the Forge Delver clan. They keep their home closest to the door to the south. He'll give you rough directions. It's on the bottom ring, just before you reach the corner of the Citadel that has the door at it. They control those that go in and out, or at least they usually do. Damn to Dagnar.
Well, it makes sense. Many clans have their own niches and specialties. On the topic I mentioned before, is there a clan who is renowned for their craftsmanship, or would that be another contentious matter?
No. There's a couple families that do well. I should say, all clans would do you well. Every single one. You grab any dwarf from the city and they would serve. Their craftsmanship is second to none outside the city. Inside, if you really want some good craftsmanship, it depends on what you're looking for. You want a weaponsmith, or do you want an armorer? Do you want what are you looking for?
We are looking for someone who is quite maybe a hidden genius, someone who is gifted in the skills of engineering, not just the mundane, but as well as the arcane. So I do not have a particular design in mind, but if someone whose talents are going to waste here, we would certainly be able to make use of in Oakwell.
Roll a persuasion check. Or some form of charisma-based check. I don't mind which.
Okay. I will be performing. This is my spiel. It's a recruitment speech. I'm trying to build up what we're doing. So
Okay, that makes sense.
that is a 10.
10. It sounds like what you want. You want Wilbur.
Wilbur.
Yep, Wilbur Jambreaker. I feel for that family. The Jambreakers are one of the best clans for, or at least they were, for jewel smithing. But Wilbur, he's the black sheep of the family. Always doing weird experiments with his gems. Shining light through it, or trying to conduct energy through it and cause weird things. Like the other day, he tried getting someone to fund his research into making, get this, a fireball that was cold.
Cold ball.
That sounds ridiculous.
Like, who's gonna fund that? Why would we need a cold ball when we need the forges lit? Like, no. So if you want someone that does kind of weird stuff, you want Wilbur.
Very good. Maybe we will pay him a visit. Where can we find this Wilbur?
His place is nearest the top, furthest away from the palace.
As it should be, apparently.
See, you're catching on quick. Catching on quick.
Well, thank you for your expertise advice.
No problem. Do you still need healing? You don't look like.
Do you need healing?
I mean,
Are you asking other people?
nothing more than a good night's rest is all the healing I need, I think.
Yes, exactly.
You are so kind. Yeah, I just need a good night's rest.
All right. Breakfast is served at the 7th hour, and if you're not there by the end of the 7th hour, there will be no breakfast. All right. Cool. Good night to you all. And he'll walk out, close the door behind him. Now, you guys arrived sometime in the mid-afternoon, so you've still got plenty of hours in the day. You can still explore the city as and well you please. You've got plenty of hours before nightfall, before you get tired.
To turn to Daffy and look way out better and ask, so what do you think about what just happened, or anything or everything? You were very quiet.
I have no idea what's happening. So the person that we came to find isn't here. So do we need to go somewhere else? I don't know.
Well, the person who gave us this mission said that we could use the teleportation system whenever the problem was solved. So there's implications there that they want us to solve whatever problem these guys have going on. That problem seems to be the king is in a coma.
Oh no, we were paid to come and figure out if the speaker was alive, and then find out why he wasn't responding. He left into a dark pit full of demons and devils.
But he's still alive.
It is quite clear he is dead because he's not responding. Oh no, they know he's alive because he keeps getting the messages. It would be so easy just to say he was dead and go home.
But what if... Alright, why would he... Okay, he says it's adventuring, right? But his job is a seeker. Why is he doing that? It doesn't make sense. So I'm thinking maybe someone on the council put him there.
Or he learned something that he couldn't tell anyone else.
Exactly. He learned something because of, the Lord right now. Like he's in a coma. So I don't know.
Or he had something to prove and just wanted to find adventure. These things do not have to be related.
What does he have to prove? His job might be a secret, but he has a job that is something that's
maybe he fell in love. Maybe he fell in love with a woman from a different clan, and to prove his worth, he had to go and kill things. But he was afraid because if people found out about their relationship, it would be the end of it all and would besmirch his character. But if he came back victorious, he would be able to make the necessary betrothal, and there would be no problems because he would be a great adventuring hero.
That
We
was
should've-
really specific. Have you been thinking about that for a while?
I'm just saying that is literally just as plausible as everything you are saying.
Looks like we cracked the case. Good job, Obi.
Perfect. So we tell them what is going on, and then we go home. This is fine.
Done. There you go. You've solved it.
I think there is something to what you say, Theodora, that there is something wrong with the High Lord.
Feel it in my bones.
The timeline, I think, with the length of time that the Lord has been in a coma, and the length of time that the speaker has been missing is not that far off, and therefore possibly related. What if?
Just so in terms of timeline, the High Lord probably went into a coma about the same time that the speaker stopped messaging, but Dagnar only just mentioned that his cousin didn't go down until recently. So the speaker spent plenty of time not responding to messages up here before going down to the deep. Just want to make sure that was clearly sorted.
I did miss that detail, so thank you for that.
There is a spell that can take people over, like that I've heard of. I've actually seen it cured.
What if the king, the High Lord, forgive me, what if the High Lord was concerned about something and told the speaker not to respond to anything, and then the High Speaker fell ill, and now the High Lord fell ill, and now the speaker is down in the deep looking for some sort of cure?
It's a good theory. And we have lots of those. We have lots of very good theories.
Obsidian's
Now we
theory
need-
was also very sound.
I
Yes.
think that was the best one, honestly.
Yeah, it's very detailed, and usually life is like that, so good
It
job.
had romance. It had a B story. It had everything.
The B story.
So now what we need to do is we need to put our hypothesis into action, and we need to follow a lead in order to get some answers and to tether this along a little bit. Does anyone have any idea for leads?
Honestly, the only lead is gonna be what we came here for. It's if there's one thing Obi said, it's that we should just do our job right now, and then from there, that should open pathways to figuring out what's going on. Because to be honest, we don't really need to do any of these things. But the common people, these little dwarven folk, they want their lord, from what we can gather, and they'll only-
one bouncer in a bar wants the Lord. We have not talked to a single other person here. I do not
Okay,
know what
alright.
anyone wants.
Yes, that's true, Obi. We'll be realistic in this point. For the first time ever, you're the realistic one. But let's just do what Obi. Let's say what Obi says, and let's just go do our job and find that dude that went down into that freaking place and fight some monsters.
I think the beating that was taken by some would mend overnight, and perhaps we should wait for this before we plunge into the depths.
DM, given who I am and my background and such, would I be familiar with, say, poison that could be locally sourced that could keep someone in a coma if administered once or intermittently?
I would also ask that question.
So, history, kind of like, which of your skills would you utilize for this?
Medicine?
Yeah, okay, medicine would work.
18.
Okay. You do know of some poisons that will put someone in an induced sleep, but none that will last this long. It would require regular dosage. Couple days for each dosage, but you would definitely need regular dosage. Theo, were you going to check something?
Yeah, because medicine is
different, or-
totally my thing. So I was gonna ask. But you know what? I know I can generalize that that's a thing.
Would you roll better though?
It's very possible I could. Yes.
Well, I mean, Theo, you made the excellent point that it might be a poison. There is, for example, Harpy's Breath. There is Warlock's
Yes,
Embrace.
there are things. Yes. All that aside, if anything were to require repeat doses or something of that nature, then the hands would undoubtedly point to Miss Orkbreaker, who has not left his side.
But isn't she like basically just like property or something until she like gets remarried or whatever?
That's sounding. So I really want to give her the benefit of the doubt, but I think it's worth talking to her. You know, right?
Okay. I did not want it to seem like she was property.
If the conditions for being taken care of is to have a child, then that might be a little on the edge.
I do not know that we can get an audience. I am open to suggestions on how we could entertain such a thing.
Well, don't assume first. Just ask first. Just try first. Because there's no harm in that.
Just go up and say, hey, we might be able to help him. Can we come in?
Or at least I can offer my services as a physician from Oakwell.
Was the man with the inn downstairs seems to suggest that this topic is very contentious, and that the official word is that this man is dead. So coming in and suggesting we can help this dead man, I think might not go over very well.
Well, that's something to check out.
Delicate.
Is if whether or not it does go well, because we don't know. Again, that's an assumption. And if it goes well, then that says something. And if it doesn't go well, that says something else. So
well, and it could also be a ruse that you are here to help or make his passing as painless as possible. And depending on what they want you to do, can tell us some things. And who wants you to do it.
So many what ifs.
Yes.
But what are you going to do?
What if
What
if Dagnar knows and can help us get to the Lord? You know?
Well, we'd have to get permission to delve into the deeps from the Forge Delver clan.
That shouldn't be hard. We can just pretend that we're there for sport.
So you go get permission, and then Theo can go ask to be a physician, and I will stay here and rest. And then we'll come back here tonight for dinner and to decide what to do.
Cecil,
split the party. That always works, right?
Cecil, do you not think that it's at least probably a good idea to get a feel for the mood of what it would be like to go down there by going to the palace and talking to people first?
Cecil looks out in the window and he just says, "I already know the mood." So, like whispering as his sword hand twitches, and then he looks back. Places like that, my father used to lead me in those places when I was like 10 to train, so I already know. And then there's like a shiver. But if that's
who hurt you?
That is, no one. My father just liked to leave me training.
I'm gonna hug Cecil.
I will permit you to touch me this one time.
Are we hugging? She'll just like go.
There you go.
Loop her arms around the both of you.
To hug me.
Yay.
Anyways.
Pick you both up like the bit. Please. One of those.
Look, when we make plans, I don't really care. I already set my piece. If everybody wants to do some other stuff, then we can. I just want to make sure that we do this right. And that we're on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
I think given the severe time limits, though, 1 or 2 days till the High Lord Orkbreaker may be irreparably acted against, we should not delay. So yes, you do your things, I will rest here. And I can guard all of our stuff.
I will stay behind with Obsidian to make sure he is guarded as well.
No, that is fine. Do not put yourself out. You should go and make sure everyone is safe. Nefer is very kind in keeping us safe, but who knows what the rest of the city is like.
Obsidian, I am concerned for your health. I will stay here with you. That way, you are taken care of.
I agree. I
That
think
is
Clear should stay.
far too kind.
Okay. Daffy, what are you going to do? If Cecil is going down to inquire about delving into the deep, and Theo is going to do some medical inquiry.
Oh no, I'm staying with the party, wherever the bulk of that is. That's standard operating procedure. That is smart.
Okay. So would you perhaps you guys do the same? Do both
If
together?
Cecil is
Just
headstrong about going down to take a look at stuff, I will go with him.
Sure, I'll follow you.
But if Theo is headstrong about being a physician, I would. We're on like a stalemate. So
No, it's okay. I give.
Rock, paper, scissors.
I give.
Whatever you
Boulder
do,
shears.
do it somewhere
Parchment
else. You're
boulder
super
shears.
loud and I'm trying to sleep.
Parchment
All right.
Leave.
2 out of 3.
Seeing as Theo hugged Cecil and had a moment, Cecil will say, "Let's just let's try to speak with what's her face, the mistress, You know,
And if it doesn't work,
the widow,
just turn around and go.
The High Mistress of the Citadel, Orcbreaker.
Orcbreaker. Okay, so you leave the tavern. There are different ways that you can go. You can path by the interconnecting pathways and try to skip over travels, or you could take the nice long scenic route that spirals down the entire way. Quick or scenic?
I would think quick.
Quick.
Okay. So you start passing over the walkway. Each of these walkways is about 15 foot wide. They do have large handrails, which I realized is not often a thing when you have bridges in fantasy settings. So you walk down these huge pathways for about 30 minutes before you finally get to the bottom. Near the palace, there are plenty of dwarves out and about in a guard-like position. You can see that the palace is ringed by some fairly staunch-looking, strong soldiers. Each soldier dressed in their armor, each set of armor with family crests emblazoned on them in many different ways, usually on the shoulder, chest, and back, and each of them with a little flag that sticks out of the back of their armor that hangs out the top and just waves to show off that they are guard of the palace. Who do you talk to, since it's just guards that are surrounding the palace?
Are they uniformed?
Yes, every single one is uniformed in very similar armor, plated armor. If you're looking for an official that like a higher ranking or a greater one, you will easily be able to notice that the ones in front of the door, the main door into the Citadel itself, do have a lot more gold filigree into the edges of their armor plating. So their shoulder poultices, I can't remember the word, are lined with golden imagery.
Okay.
So they look important. As you approach, weapons slightly come out, not completely drawn, but they reach for their blades and lift them out to show that they're readying in defense. Who goes there?
As we were walking up several feet before we get to this point, I'll have just under my breath muttered, if either one of you would talk on my behalf, I would be extremely appreciative.
And this time, I will grab her and push her forward. Like,
No!
this is your expertise.
No!
I am not a doctor. If anything, I could be your nurse. And you could be the doctor. So I kind of push her forward.
If this fails horribly, it's all your fault.
It's okay. It won't. I believe in you.
Okay, hi, I'm Theo. I'm from Oakwell.
This is failing horribly, Lady Daffy. We need a plan B, quick.
What do you want me to say? Tell me what to say, but don't tell me what to say.
Messengers from Oakwell would have evidence. Provide proof.
I'm gonna pull down Daffy, use your shoulder, kind of yank her down. Now I'm gonna hand her my bingo card that's got the header for the university. And I'm gonna say, show this to them. Tell them that I am a physician in my 5th year. I am almost graduated, and I would like to speak directly to the High Mistress to see if she would like my services.
Okay.
Thank you.
Here's our proof from Oakwell. This is Theo. She is an amazing physician, and she'd like to speak directly to the High Mistress, please. She'd like to offer her services.
He'll calm down a little bit, having seen the official document. Not really reading it that much, but just seeing that you have some sort of official document. The very least, his blade goes back into its hilt, and he lets go of it. The High Mistress is not ill, is she? Why do you seek to offer your services to her?
I'm gonna lean in and just say, we heard of what has happened to the Lord, and they actually sent her to learn more about this, to see if maybe in the future we can kind of like not let this happen to other people, you know.
So you're here to do a post-mortem?
More just get information from, just like a little interview with the mistress, if that's possible.
Deception check.
Damn, I mean, technically, we are kind of like talking to her, interviewing her. I got it. Don't
The
worry.
best lies are true.
Yes. All I've been doing is lying. Like, I should have already be Oathbreaker at this point.
Stop lying.
I got 25.
Ooh.
Okay. I will escort you to the High Mistress. Follow me. Keep your hands to yourself, and he'll spot. Do any of you have weapons visible?
I should have my sword.
Okay.
Same.
For access to the High Mistress, all weapons will be removed, securely placed, and he'll guide you off to the side that's inside the Golden Palace, basically a cloakroom that's off to the side, and there's one of the dwarves there that'll take it for you and mark down your name. But there are other soldiers, armored individuals right there at that point that will pat each of you down to make sure that you're not sneaking anything in. So would you all remove your weapons beforehand?
Yeah.
None of you are going to try to sneak anything sharp into the room. No.
No.
Okay.
Is
All
the
right.
loot sharp?
Obi's
No.
not here, so. don't
Then
worry.
no.
Oh, he's not here. You're fine.
Yeah, don't worry.
No one's
we're
making
not-
a shiv to bring in.
Just had to double check. Okay, so after being patted down and them being secure that you are not bringing in any weapons, they will then guide you through the hall. The inside of the Grand Palace, the Golden Palace, the first area that you step into is a large central auditorium that is actually lowered down away from the entryway. It actually drops down about 20 feet, and steps lead down into this large ringed area. There is a stand and a pedestal that's in the middle that someone would be conducting any sort of speeches off, and row upon row of seats that just ring around him. They guide you around this auditorium to the back, where there are a number of large dark wooden doors. Having guards open them for you, you will be in the residential quarter of the palace, which is the living spaces, and it is covered in grandiose paintings of the High Lord of the Citadel. In all of his regalness, all of which probably painted to better him rather than being perfect likenesses of him. After passing through this hallway, he'll take you to the bedchamber. It is a large bed. You're looking at a bed that's at least 15 foot wide and just as much long. And the king is lying down in there. Now, as they approach the doors are opened. You'll watch as the knight steps forward, bows into the room, and then walks past. And as he walks past, he looks back to each of you. You can kind of tell that he's expecting you to do the same thing, to bow as you enter the room.
I'll do it.
Sure.
As after showing your respect to the room and those within it, you'll see that sat down next to the bed in a large purple armchair is the High Mistress. And he will introduce, my lady, these travelers from Oakwell Physicians wish to speak with you about the illness and how to stop others from gaining the illness in the future. We hope you are well. And he'll turn back to you. Please be respectful as we are in mourning. And then we'll turn. He won't leave. He will close the door behind. Close the door, but then stand in front of it, watching you guys. So right now in this large room, there is the High King in the bed, the High Mistress that's sat next to him, you guys, and that one soldier who was some sort of lead captain or something. Okay?
Before anything, can I do a divine sense?
You can.
Okay. Do I feel anything?
So you get to know if there are any celestials, fiends, or undead within 60 feet of you. You do not sense any celestials, fiends, or undead within 60 feet of you that are not behind total cover.
Alright, so I'm going to gently put my hand behind Theo and say to her, I got us in here, and my father likes to say, the best way to get experience is to just be pushed. And I push her forward to speak with the mistress.
I'll stumble a little bit. I'll actually end up falling and then catching myself in a kneeling pose like I meant to do it. Like, High Mistress.
10, like a 10.
Please stand up. Stand up.
I'll stand, but I'll keep my head respectfully bowed. And I'll say, my deepest condolences.
Thank you.
I am Theodora Wolkenjaeger. I am from Oakwell. I'm a physician in training. And I first and foremost would like to offer my services to you. How many people
If you
are
an apprentice, is your master one of these?
How many people are in the room? Like, as far as guards, there are at
So,
least two, right?
As far as guards, you have just the captain that led you in. There are no other guards inside the room. So in terms of people, one in the bed, one in the chair, you three, and a guard. So 6 people in the room.
So what's the kind of feeling that I get off of that guard? Does he seem like an upstanding individual who cares deeply about what's happening?
Roll an insight check.
13.
There was a lot of respect given from this man towards her. From what you had heard previously, in terms of the way the place works and the people here, that might not be afforded by most. So he must care deeply for her situation and the place.
While no, my master is not behind me, I can inform you that I am in my 5th years of study, 5 out of 6. So I'm very close. The only thing that I am wrapping up now is going around and acquiring experience from reality, which is what I'm doing here.
Okay.
So at the very least, nobody has written down what is ailing the High Lord. And we would, in Oakwell, at least like to have a record of that to make sure it's not contagious. And if it is, if we have to do something about it, you understand?
I understand, yes. In terms of what ails him, We were having a nice walk. We were actually taking a daily stroll around the rings. We like to do that. It's as the night falls and people start changing their lights. It becomes quite beautiful to go for that walk. We had just stepped out into the mountains, out of the door, when my beloved began to feel weak. When he began to feel weak, we shortened our trip and we began to walk home. By the time we got back to the palace, he was barely able to stand without help. Once he reached his bed, he fell asleep instantly. I thought he was just exhausted, so I let him rest. And the next day, he did not wake up.
So you don't know. There's no name as of yet for the affliction that has occurred.
The High Council determined his body was exhausted, and that he was the gods desired change, and so he was to it was his time, and his body was shutting down.
I understand. Who was it that gave him his diagnosis exactly?
We had some local priests look over him. They then deliberated and gave their... While they said to me that he is fine and just needs rest and will be better soon, given we find some way of waking him up, they went and presented their findings to the High Council, and they then pronounced him dead.
I'm gonna interject. Has anyone here that is a paladin looked after him or seen him? It's like a skill set of a paladin.
We've had many people pray over him. What the knights of the gods could do, the clerics can do better. No?
Correct.
I'm gonna just ignore that. No, well, I actually just want to try something, because if I can do this, then that means we can cross out two things. We could if I do lay on hands, we can cross out a disease and we can cross out a poison. And I'm going to explain that if I use my healing power, I can we can determine if he gets healed, he gets healed. If not, then at least we know it's not a disease or it's not a poison.
Roll a persuasion check.
Ooh,
and at the mention of potentially using power on him and touching him, you will catch the glimpse of the captain go back to his one hand on the blade.
Can I guidance him for this?
Yes, you can guidance him.
Thank you.
Ooh, I am going to use my inspiration that we got. Okay.
That was a natural one.
Yeah, that's not how... Okay. Alright, here it is. 26. And then I'll use guidance. Just for the hell of it. And then I got another one, so 27.
Another one on the guidance. Okay.
Oh, a lot of ones on those.
The High Mistress will put a hand up and wave at the guard, who lets go of his blade and goes back to attention. Please, anything you can do, please.
Okay, so I'll be like this, so that I'm not trying to do anything, and I'm gonna touch his chest, and I will give away 5 points of lay on hands and see what happens.
Okay. Now, for those who aren't aware, what does giving 5 points of your lay on hands supposed to do?
As an action, you can touch a creature, or any blah blah blah, or 5 HP to either cure a disease or neutralize a poison affecting a creature.
Okay. It seems to have no effect on him. It is not a disease. It is not a poison.
I relay that to Theo.
That points to magic. Can I real quick gauge whether or not she was serious and honest when she was saying, please do anything you can to save him? Or if she's secretly like, oh, I hope they fail.
Insight check.
Ooh, 11. That was really low.
You can't tell. She's very stoic and sad. So that's all you read from her.
So, Cecil was successfully able to lay his hands on this guy. So I will attempt to do the same.
Doing what?
If I succeed, I will be casting Lesser Restoration.
They won't stop him. They won't stop you. And what is Lesser Restoration supposed to do?
Cure a disease.
No disease.
Okay, all right. Okay, so I'll turn to Cecil and I'll let him know. The only thing that I can think to do at this point, standard operating procedure, is to cast Detect Magic and to attempt to see if there's any magic set upon him. So, but I need 10 minutes to do that. And then I'll turn to the...
I can do it.
Oh, can you? Yeah, you can. Yeah, you
Well,
can.
I can only do it like once,
This
but
is a good
I
time
can do it.
This is totally a good time to do it.
Okay. I'll cast Detect Magic.
Okay. And there is magic in the air. When you sense magic in this way, do you use your action to then see a visible aura around anything visible that has a magical effect upon it?
Mm-hmm.
The guard's blade and armor begin to glow. Both with his armor with abjuration magic and his blade with evocation magic. She's wearing a necklace around her neck, just a simple pendant that appears more like a holy symbol that has abjuration magic on it as well. But the body of the High Lord is wreathed in enchantment magic.
You're right, Theo. He has an enchantment on him.
I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna turn to the High Mistress and say, "Hi, Mistress. He appears to have an enchantment on him." And then I'm gonna gauge her reaction.
What do you mean by an enchantment?
There's a school of magic called enchantment.
Right. Are you saying it like the High Council did? They claim that the gods will that he should die, so the gods are using magic to end his life.
Oh,
is that what's
no.
happening?
This is arcane. This is not divine. If she can see it using that spell, it's arcane.
Oh. Roll a persuasion check.
7.
What use is it to know that though? He's still like that. How
Well,
can
now
we
that we
stop
know-
this?
Now that we know what it is, we might be able to figure out how to make it go away.
You could cure him? Please cure him.
Do not get your hopes up. That is rule number 1 in these things.
Wow, that hurt.
No. You have to. When you're dealing with serious
Yeah.
medical emergencies, you need to manage your expectations. I understand how much this hurts, but it will hurt more if you get your hopes up, and then those hopes get dashed. We're going to try to do whatever we can, but I cannot promise you anything. That would be unethical.
Okay. Okay.
We're going to try though, and we are more tries than you had before, so you can have a little bit of hope. 10 milligrams.
What can you do?
Well, now that we know that it's arcane, we know that somebody did it. That's not a god. So we need to locate that person. That would be our next step.
Okay. How do you know who did it?
We don't know yet. If you have any suspects yourself, you've been very close to the situation. Your opinions and your perspective would be appreciated.
I mean, anyone that would benefit from his death would be a suspect. And so with that, I would say any of the 15 council members could be.
I was told by your subjects that an election is held to figure out who the next High Lord is, and it's usually out of the Council of 15. Is there anyone that is a particular fan favorite, someone who stands a particularly good chance, but that might be older because they might need to get shooed in quickly before they kick the bucket, that kind of thing?
It is not an election that the people are involved in. The High Council vote amongst themselves and elect the new High Lord.
So have any clans been particularly active in garnering funds or manpower to back them?
From what I've witnessed from my engagements with the High Council before, they were a tight-knit group, all old, cranky old men, but all of them were a group that would communicate, and we would hang around. We would meet with their families from time to time. Out of them, I can think of 3 who would most likely become the next High Lord just because of who would vote for them.
Mm-hmm. That's a start.
You have the Chiselback family, Gold Crusher, and the Stone Twister.
That last one just sounds phonetically painful.
You should be in the meetings where they have to call out everyone's names. It's a nightmare. It takes 20 minutes just to name everyone.
It does sound like a nightmare. Glad I'm not.
Yep. Glad you're not writing 15 dwarven names over and over.
Yes. Yep. Okay, well, I think that's it for me. You mentioned that he began to feel weak during his daily stroll around the rings. Did you come into contact with anyone or anything unusual during that stroll?
We usually go on a walk after he's finished his daily meetings. So he had just come out of a council meeting when he came back to the residences to meet with me, and then we would go for a walk. Not all meetings have everyone in them. I can't remember who was at that particular meeting, but that's what he did immediately before, and we didn't really. No one disturbs us on our walks. It's kind of a rule.
All right, and I never did get an actual identity of the person who diagnosed him initially. Is it one of these people, the Chiselback clan, the Gold Crusher, or the Stone Twister? Did one of them examine him?
Actually, yes. A pair of clerics came and met with him, each of which representing the god's will, as they said, and it was the Chiselback and the Gold Crusher. Those 2 came. I'm
feeling very good, High Mistress, that our culprit is one of these clans. It fits.
Okay. If you, what should I do? What should we do?
Only
Please,
surround yourself with people that you absolutely trust 100%. Leave no margin for error on that. Since you're a witness, then they will be after you too.
Okay. That won't be hard. No one bothers us. So
You might, if you got some clerics of your own that you trust 100%, have them run through another spell, truth spell. You know, make sure that nothing recent has happened.
Okay, thank you. We will do. Please let me know if there's anything you can you find out. Any of you.
Cecil, Daphne, do you have anything to add?
No, I think we got all the information we could have.
I'm really sorry about your husband.
Me too. He was a good man.
He still is. We'll figure it out.
You give me hope. Big blue one.
Moderate hope.
Moderate hope. I'm keeping it in check.
Good.
Okay. All right. Then, if there's nothing else, the captain will lead you back out. He'll give you back all of your equipment. Nothing will be missing. You'll double check everything, and everything is exactly as you left it. People looked through everything, and you can tell that everything has been looked through, but they would have given you back everything that was yours. All right. So, what's next, guys?
What's happening
What's the
with
plan?
Obi and Pelier over there doing a buddy movie?
Obsidian. What did you really have in mind?
I open the window, claws come out. If you're going to come with me, you have to climb down with me together, and we will go on a little walkabout. But no one will know that we left by the front door. And I'm climbing out.
Okay.
I follow.
Stealth check. From both of you.
I got a 27.
16.
Okay. All right. So where are you going on your little excursion?
So,
And I'm assuming this was more or less just after they left.
Pretty much. I had intended to kind of, with my background, kind of hit the disreputable parts of town, kind of shake the criminal underpinnings a little bit to find out more information about poisons and what may be there, and if one of these particular 2 or 3 poisons I know was being used, or if people were buying it or trying to get a lead on that. I'll say, since we've already kind of established it's not a poison, maybe we can just kind of fluff that's what we're doing while we just kind of walk and have a conversation and find out that it's not poison and go back.
Okay. All right. Well, looking for the rough part of town and the underbelly, you'll be able to tell a slight difference in the way that the rings are built up. The further towards the surface the rings are, the less maintained the buildings are. And so you start climbing out, and you start climbing up the side of the wall, because that'll take you up to the next ring, and then you'll go up and up and up to get towards the disreputable portion of town. There you will be able to meet with someone who is also fairly criminal. They don't care so much about the whole mourning aspect, and so if you want information, if you want to know anything, then you have to pay them, and they'll give you the information for 5 gold.
That is what I needed. We are here and have paid. Do you want to know anything else, my dark companion?
Just for the record, Pelier is like ghost white as a Shatterkai. So,
Oh, That is Matthew not knowing. Great.
That's bad.
Clear. My pale companion.
So while we're traversing the seedy underbelly of Citadel, Haganabudo, I will ask, so, Obsidian, you never quite told me what the misunderstanding was that landed you in jail back in Oakwell. Of course, I assumed it was a misunderstanding, but now that I see your felicity with the criminal underworld, I have second thoughts. What happened?
So I, Oakwell, like other places, has it looks really nice from the outside. All the universities and the temples and all the high government buildings, but there are poor people who don't have access to that kind of thing. And if you're one of those people, sometimes you have to steal to eat and to live. And sometimes if you steal and a lawkeeper gets really mad, or just there's some murders around, they think you are a murderer, so you get arrested for murder, even though you've done nothing more than steal. So there have been, well, it's a very large city, there are murders all the time, but the lawkeeper we know, Lawkeeper Brown, he seemed to think I was responsible for those things, and he caught me thieving, but they couldn't prove any of the murders, of course, because I didn't do them. And so that was all just the animus of a poor, hungry tabaxi against the weight of the estate.
It is difficult without the money. I have heard it said that it costs more to be poor than it does to be rich.
Well, I suppose that is true, though to be fair, I don't care much about money. If I have it, I use it. If I don't, I have other means to get what I need.
Well, perhaps you can inquire with this gentleman that maybe there is a... we have Theodora. She will be there examining the High Lord if everything goes according to plan, and if there is a sickness, no doubt she will be able to cure it. However, if there is some magical thing afoot, perhaps we could use with some way to dispel magics. And I have heard of these things that are in the library back in Oakwell, but I am not there. Perhaps this man can tell us where we could perhaps find a scroll of this.
And we can look for contraband of that type. I would not mention our friends.
No, I would not mention
these are
that.
Disreputable people.
I would mention this to you exclusively.
Yes. So yes, we can see what they have for sale. Sometimes the black market has many goodies that you cannot get elsewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then with that, as our party have determined that the High Lord of Citadel Haganibuto is under a magical spell, and the speaker of whom they are here to investigate has gone on a walkabout, we will end our session there. Our heroes will rejoin us next week as we continue to delve and explore the Citadel. You can follow us as we do so on Twitter. We are at Crituitous RP. Go ahead and follow us here. Let's get that follower count climbing. Subscribe to us if you can. Go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is also going to be Crituitous RP. And if you are so inclined to enjoy D&D chat and a community, we have set up a Discord channel that is for us that you can come and just hang out in, play around in, and just join us and talk. We'd appreciate every one of you there. Before we go, quick shout outs to everyone else's stuff that they do. So Christina, if you wouldn't mind.
Sure. My name is Christina Sid. I am a Greek Sid on Twitter. You can find me here on Tuesdays, obviously. You can find me on the Greyhound channel on Saturdays at 12 o'clock Eastern. It's 11 Central. I get those confused. I apologize. For the Rise of the Temple Elemental Evil. It's super duper awesome. And on Sundays, you can find me on Encounter Roleplay. That's at 5 o'clock Eastern for a really cool Young Heroes of Fate game. So check it out.
Okay. Is anyone else doing anything else? Nope. Okay. All right. Well, until next time, folks, good night.
Good night.
Bye.